Welcome back. The first thing I wanted to talk about today was there was a comment on one of my latest videos of me doing Rose's hair. People thought it was shade at Avery Woods, and it was most definitely not. It had nothing to do with that, but I did see that whole drama thing go down, and I did want to talk about the topic of favoritism. And I don't want to talk about that video. I don't want to talk about Avery, but this is something that's been on my mind. I've made an observation. It's been almost a year of me having two kids, and I have a boy and a girl. It just seems, as an extremely general statement, it seems that little boys in general, as a society, are favored more than little girls, like by the public, by almost everyone. I talked about this on my live. It could have something to do with the fact that Jay wears a suit everywhere he goes and like a bow tie. But even before that, or when he's not wearing that, it just feels like people give him way more attention. And I was worried that that was going to be the opposite, and like Jay was going to be sad because he was no longer getting the attention he always did. But no, he gets all of it. And Rose is just kind of like, sometimes I don't know, people don't really acknowledge Rose sometimes. And it's shocking because like I may be biased, but I think she's like the cutest freaking baby girl in the world. And I'm glad she doesn't know what's going on because it doesn't hurt her. And honestly, if someone were to get more attention, I'm glad it's the one that knows what's going on, like the older one. This could also be the way that I waited 4 years to have another child. Everyone in our lives has such an established relationship with Jay. Like he's fucking established as fuck. Rose being the baby goo goo gaga thing that she is, they're just on two different levels. And I, as mom, I split myself in half for them because, like I said, they're on two different levels. I can't do the same shit I do with Rose that I do with Jay. But I guess I kind of didn't. It was a shock when other people didn't do that too. Like they don't split themselves in half, but now I understand I should never expect that. It seems like people gravitate more towards Jay because he's established as fuck and he can talk, he's easier to, make a relationship with. And he also will get his feelings hurt if, someone's paying attention to Rose and not him, whereas the other way around, she won't get her feelings hurt. It's just one of the cons of having such an age gap, I guess, because if they were both like, 2 years old and 1 years old, it's very easy to just like interact with them both at the same time. So that's a con I wasn't expecting, but as Rose gets older, it does get easier and they can do things together. But there was like a few months there where I just felt like Rose was just left in the shadows. Not for me, never for me. You could put me on a lie detector test, you could, I swear on everything, I love them both exactly the same. So something else I wanted to clarify about the gardening topic, and I know I joke about it a lot, but I really kind of want to get serious about it for a second because I do feel kind of strongly about this when it comes to me. This is keyword here, me. I really don't give a fuck what anybody else does because I can recognize I am not a normal person, and what gardening does to me does not do to almost anyone else. But I feel very strongly about being sober while I am taking care of my children, especially my young children that need a lot of uh, attention and what's the word? Supervision. As they grow, maybe I'll like be able to like drink and chill. But right now, I feel like I need to be sober while I'm watching them. It's like kind of like a promise I made to myself. Not that I ever really had a problem with like substances, but I notice like other people like have more of a. I'm just like an all or nothing type person, but other people like they can chill, like they can go puff it up. I don't know. I'm such a fucking Karen sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like people can like chill and while they're watching their kids. I can't be that way. I have to be sober because if something happened to them and I wasn't sober, I would never know if it was because I wasn't sober that it happened to them. And that's honestly a very taboo topic in the mom world because people really don't like when you shit on their wine or their gardening. And I get it because, I get that I don't get it. I get that I'm not normal and like one glass of wine will take me the fuck out. But we do have to acknowledge that it can have a lot of damaging effects to some people. Some people it helps a ton with anxiety and makes them chill, interact with their kids, get on their level more. I get that. But some people gardening, I've seen it really bring out the worst in some people. I've seen people get addicted and it destroys their mental health. and the second they quit, they're like new people. That's happened to like a few people in my life, but most people are able to just do it and be fine. And the way it's legalized, like I'm glad it helps people, but at the same time, the people that it's not helping, it's just justifying that. So my hope for people is just to be more self-aware, like really think about why you're using it. Okay, last topic here is a little bit more deep, and it's something that I kind of just want to get off my chest in like a little bit of the therapy way. I know you're gonna say just go to fucking therapy, but I maybe someday, I don't know. I think that relationships are easier when one person does not come from a broken home. Because Sean comes from a very sturdy, happy, beautiful family. A perfect mom, a perfect dad. I will plead the fifth about his sister. He came from like ideal parents, you know. And me over here, I came from a very much broken home. Like it was broken in many different ways. And a lot of the times, like if he was coming from my perspective, like we would just shatter. But he's just so solid and he makes up for a lot of things that I lack. And I learn a lot from him and his parents. I really don't want to like offend anyone when I say broken home because there's a lot of single moms and dads out there that take offense to that because they don't want to be broken. They don't want to be classified as broken. And I totally get that. Honestly, I think there's plenty of broken homes where the mom and dad are still together. I've also seen a lot of single parent households full of love and they're whole and they're happy. I don't think broken always means split up. Something I'm struggling with right now is not knowing if I should have standards for people, right? Like these are the standards that I hold, and if you don't meet these standards, then I don't want you in my life. Or do I just accept people for who they are? This is who they are, this is who they've always been, they're not going to change. You either accept it or you don't. Normally, for me, the answer is pretty clear. Like, if I want someone in my life or not, but for this specific person, I'll just say it's my dad. I he this is I mean this is a very complicated story, but basically to sum it up, he has never been a dad to me. Like minimally in my life, um no relationship at all with me and him. Besides the occasional like Snapchat. um, but after I had Jay, I kind of hoped that things would change. You know, like he would want to get to know Jay and like be a really good grandpa to him, and maybe like get to know me. I'm here too, so and that kind of did happen. Like when Jay was like first born, he actually did come around a lot, and he invited me over, and like I would hang out with him and his wife, and everything felt like it was like on the up. You know, I was 21. I'm finally getting a fucking dad. That faded away, and now I have Rose, and he barely sees Rose, and I'm just like I'm just like I don't know, like do I just allow like him to just come around for like birthdays and holidays and not have any relationship with me or them, like any real relationship, or do I just cut him off and not have him in their life at all? I'd rather him be in their life a little bit than not at all, right? Not having any sort of relationship with my dad has affected me way more than I realized, like in hindsight, on the way I acted as a teenager and stuff. And even now as a mom, like I remember when Sean would watch the Celtics, right? Like I would get triggered because that's the only thing my dad ever did was watch TV, like watch sports. Like every other weekend I would visit him and he would wake up at like 3 o'clock and just watch sports. So when Sean wanted to sit down and watch Celtics, I used to get so mad and I used to immediately think like you're a bad dad, you're being a bad fucking dad, you need to stop doing that. And I would get so mad at him, like shut this off, please don't watch this. And all hours of the day he's being such an involved dad. Like he's Sean's an amazing dad. And that's something I had like that's just one example of something I had to unlearn. Like just because Sean watches TV doesn't equal him being a bad dad. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I just like want you guys to know that my life is just not this perfect, fun, happy time all the fucking time. I was kind of hesitant to share that because I don't want to like blast out my family drama and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's not drama. Just a fact. He wasn't in my life. I'm at peace with it right now because I'm happy with where I ended up, and I wouldn't change my life at all. So in a way, it's kind of like that Drake lyric, like at least I've been to a prison. Who are not to forgive him? Like not saying my dad went to jail or anything, but you know what I mean. Like I'm happy with where I am, and I think the only road that I took was the only road that would bring me here. I'm at peace with the fact that he wasn't a dad to me, but I just want him to change. And it's just like what's wrong with Jay and Rose? What's wrong with me? Like why don't you want to be in our lives? Like why do dads fucking do this? Like why is this such a common problem with dads?